Dear Diary, with spring quickly approaching, I feel like I'm on a race against the clock. There is so much to do in the flower field before the end of January. Daniel got up this morning to haul a couple loads of compost for the new beds, and my day began when he got back with the second load. I got up and made us a fresh batch of our favorite French press coffee. And while that water was heating up, I went to check on my bokashi compost bucket. For months, I had been doing research on this new-to-me composting method. Over Christmas, I received a few gift cards, which I used to purchase all of the supplies I needed to get started. And then about a week ago, I added my first batch of kitchen scraps to the bucket and have anxiously checked to see if I could harvest any liquid every day. And well, today was the day. My eyes widened with excitement as I watched a strong and steady flow of golden liquid run out of the spout and into my jar. This liquid will serve as a natural fertilizer for our veggie garden in the spring, and then any extra will of course go to my flowers. The chickens were then let out of their coop to free range, and we are so close to finishing that structure of theirs and their enclosed run. On my walk over to the flower field, I noticed a group of robins and a bright yellow bird that landed in my hydrangeas, and that reminded me, I need to put out feeders for them to help the birds get through the winter. Once in the field, I walked up to the large loads of compost to admire them, just sitting there in all of their glory, that dark color of the compost, which just honestly makes my heart beat a little fast. My mom graciously gifted me a crate of red spider lilies that she dug up from a bed they had taken over at her house. So I began working in the area that I wanted them to go in first, to keep them from staying out of the ground for too long. I have to say that our winter has been pretty dry and mild for the most part, with temperatures averaging somewhere in the 60s during the day, which is very nice and kind of uncommon, I think, even for the mild winters of North Carolina. I eventually found a good steady pace to work in as I laid out all of the bulbs, nestled them into a base of thick leaves, and then wheelbarrowed compost to finish and tuck them in. The leaves came from my neighbors' yards. They allowed me to go and get their leaves, and I told them that I had wanted them for our flower beds. The leaves will break down under the compost and add even more nutrients into the soil, which is exactly why I always use them at the base of large flower beds. I truly enjoyed this beautiful morning outside, taking in the fresh air and feeling the warm sun on my skin. There was a slight breeze, which made it even more pleasant, and I knew this job wouldn't take too long, which is good because I had to go inside to place a couple of seed orders for the flower field, and then, get started on dinner, collect the eggs, and tend to a few other things indoors. at this point I felt like I was making good time, so I wheelbarrowed compost load after compost load to fill this bed up so I could then spread that compost on top of the leaves, like I said, to help the leaves underneath break down and add more organic matter. Once I finished spreading that compost out with my rake, I went inside as I was getting a little hungry to have a bit of lunch, and then I did my chores and started on dinner, and that was it for the day.